This is the plaintiff, Robin Costa. She says the defendant is her younger sister, and they purchased the timeshare at Disney World together and were supposed to share the monthly costs. Unfortunately, her sister fell 4 months behind, and she had to pay it out of her own pocket, and her sweet sister refuses to reimburse her. She's suing for $953.28, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Karen Costa. She says she was shocked when she found out it was the plaintiff who wasn't paying for the timeshare. She was paying for the plaintiff's share. She was pocketing the money for the past 4 months, and she's outraged. She doesn't need this negative energy. Her sister has some nerve suing her when she's the thief, and she owes nothing. She's accused of Mickey Mousing around.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leanne now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to call you ladies Robin and Karen, Ms. Robin and Ms. Karen, because if I say Ms. Costa, no one knows who I'm talking to. And you ladies are sisters, right?
Yes. Yes.
And at some fine point, decide that it would be just peachy keen to have a timeshare in Disney World. What year did you guys decide to go in on a timeshare in Disney World in Florida?
In 2017.
Okay. And so as the years go by, everything is fine between you. Are you using the timeshare much, or do you find that you're not using it as much as you thought you'd use it?
I don't use it.
Yeah, we're not using it at all.
Nobody's using the timeshare. Okay. So this is kind of the timeshare journey. It sounds so good when they're pitching it to you. How can you go wrong? And then at some point, I guess it works for some people, but it's few and far between who it works for. I get it. Been there, done that, been bitten by that dog. So now, here we are in January of 2020. And Ms. Karen, you have been faithfully paying your half, right?
Yes.
And in January of 2020, what do you find out?
January 15th, I called to find out what was going on with the timeshare because they was calling me. So I said, well, let me call them back. So I asked them what was going on. So they said they was trying to find out why a payment wasn't made since September of 2019.
Meaning October, November, and December, because their last payment had been in September. So for 3 months, they hadn't received a payment. Now, Ms. Karen, you had been sending your half to your sister, Ms. Robin, right?
Yes.
How were you sending it? By check? Were you giving her cash? What were you doing?
I was giving her hand-to-hand cash. No receipt, no nothing.
Okay.
Just giving her hand-to-hand cash.
Okay. And Ms. Robin, you don't deny that she was giving you the cash, right?
No, I don't deny. She was.
And then the way you set up the payment is that you would have the amount every month, $211 and something cents, automatically deducted from your bank account, correct?
Yes.
And that's how it had worked since 2017.
Right. Well, it was working that way, and because she was always late with giving me the money, I would get insufficient funds. So I had asked the bank to stop making payments before the 9th of the month. And they told me that they couldn't do that. So
when you say they can't do that. You're talking about, hold on one second. Let me see what you're saying. You didn't want the timeshare bill to come in early, but the bank is in control of that. You got to tell the timeshare that. So what is it you did? You told the bank stop auto payments?
No. What I did was I would transfer the money out that was any over money that I had for my bills. I would transfer it into my savings account. When
I know, but what do you think was going to happen? If you don't change the monthly payment date, then the timeshare is going to bill your account and find that it's not getting money. I mean, there's going to be a problem.
I didn't have an idea when she would pay me. She was paying late all the time. So
okay, but Ms. Robin, Ms. Karen paid October, November, and December. She gave you the cash for those 3 months. What did you do to make sure that the timeshare got paid? Because you didn't pay your half and you didn't give the timeshare her half, did you? You just kept her half. That's why she's angry.
No. I did not keep her half. I was thinking that the bill was being paid because there was enough money, but the bank stopped paying. The bank stopped at
Yeah,
some
but the
point,
bank can only
stopped
stop paying an automatic payment if you tell them to stop paying an automatic payment.
Right, I did. At one point, I did tell them to stop making the automatic payment.
But then you have to remember to make the payment. If the bank isn't paying and she's paying you, then you, Ms. Robin, have to pay the timeshare. If you're not paying the timeshare,
Right, and
that's why this happened.
I did pay it.
Oh, you did, but you did. Hold on one second. You didn't figure it out and take care of it in October, but you took her money. You didn't figure it out and take care of it in November, but you took her money. And you didn't figure it out and take care of it in December, but you took her half. And then come January, she gets letters or she gets phone calls and she figures out what's happening. And can you blame her for being angry? When you tell her, oh, that's a mix-up from the bank. Is it really? I don't know. I think maybe you were stopping the payment from coming in early. You don't want that, but then you didn't make the effort to get it paid up. Now, have you, Ms. Karen, paid a penny in 2020?
No, I have not.
Have you used the place in 2020?
No, I have not.
When was the last time you used the place?
I do not use the place. I do not travel. I do not like to travel.
When was the last time, or why were you buying a timeshare in Florida if you don't like to travel? What's wrong with you? So when was the last time you used the place?
I don't use it. I don't use it. That was my first time ever on a plane going with my kids.
Oh, wait. So
I've never been on a plane.
You listened to the pitch. You loved the pitch. You said, I'm in. And then you never used it? Did your family use it?
Well, my intentions was for us to use it, my immediate family to use it, but I never used it.
Oh, so this is just a bad investment. It works for some people. It works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. And it is very evident that Ms. Robin and Ms. Karen are two people who live in New York and aren't going to get down there. There are things you can do to try to get rid of this timeshare, and I think that it would be a very good idea for you guys to get rid of the timeshare, especially if after all these years, the stupid timeshare is affecting a relationship between two sisters who were so close that you traveled together on the very first time Miss Karen ever got in a plane, according to her. Now, let's see what kind of things have happened since October, because I think, tell me if I'm correct, Miss Karen, that you feel that your sister is stealing money from you and you're mad. And I feel, Ms. Robin, that Ms. Karen doesn't understand that you have spent 2020 catching up. Because if you haven't been in communication with the timeshare, Ms. Karen, then you don't understand what she's been doing. Ms. Robin, according to all the records I'm looking at, you have virtually caught up to June, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Karen, did you know that? That she was paying not only everything that was owed October, November, December, but that she was paying your half since January of 2020 because you weren't paying it.
No, I did not know that because when I told her about the situation for October, November, December, I told her she wasn't getting anything till I had proof. Show me proof that you was making payment. That's why I refused not to pay anything come January to now. And I said, show me proof, because when I told her I paid you and I didn't receive or hear anything from her, all she really had to do was talk to me, negotiate with me as a sister. It never had to come to this point where we had to do it like this. That's all she had to do. But I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything, no proof. So this is where it ends up.
Well, let me ask you, Ms. Robin, when you were making all these payments that I see that you made, did you ever show them to your sister? Because she didn't do it in one payment. So I'm asking you, Ms. Robin, did you ever show it to your sister?
I texted her to tell her that there was a mistake. I had no idea that it wasn't me. I'm thinking that the bank was making the payments. I spoke with collections and they explained to me what I needed to do in order to get this account out of collection.
My question to you, Ms. Robin, is a simple one. Did you or didn't you show the proof to Ms. Karen that you paid?
I did not. I did not show her because when I texted...
This is what we call the anatomy of a lawsuit. I am going to show you the precise moment that could have stopped you two from coming here today.
I see it now.
It's a pleasure for me to meet you. I got to be here anyway, but I'm going to tell you exactly where things went wrong. Ms. Karen has an absolute right to be angry because you're taking her money and you're not seeing to it that you're doing your part. With whatever it is that changed in the bank, it's on you, it's your bank. When she's mad at you, you actually fix it. I know she did because I have painstakingly gone through the payments. I see the evidence from Westbrook. But Ms. Robin, where this lawsuit happened is where every time you paid Westbrook, you should have been alerting Ms. Karen each time that you paid. Because if you had done that, she would have seen, oh gosh, she is paying. She's trying to make it good. She's bringing down the bill. And then there wouldn't have been this hurt that Ms. Karen thinks she's totally justified in.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff claims her sister, the defendant, fell 4 months behind on her portion of a timeshare that they bought at Disney World, but the defendant claims her sister is an out-and-out thief. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Not only has she paid the arrears, but now you owe her money because now she's been paying up to June. She is current except for like $23, which I'll put into the math now. But based on what I'm looking at, she's been paying hers and yours to make up for it. So when I do all that math, what I come up with, Ms. Karen, your payment, which is $105.92, times 6, and that comes up to $635.52, minus this little $23 that she hasn't caught up. And that leaves you with a deficit that you've got to pay to catch up because she's paid your part. And that deficit is of $612.23. That is going to be my verdict, that you have to pay that to get it up to June. Let me tell you the big problem. The big problem for me is that two beautiful sisters who had such a good relationship, that you guys traveled together and wanted to be together and have this timeshare together and make an investment together, have fallen down the wayside over this debt. Fix it. Fix it. Do you understand why she didn't trust you? It's reasonable. You hear me now telling you, I've seen all the evidence that she made good not only on the part she was in deficit, but on all of your payments for the whole year. Okay? Fix it. Because now we know that neither one of you was consciously or deliberately trying to hurt their sister. Don't let the stupid timeshare get in between the two of you. Okay? As for this lawsuit, my ruling is in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $612.23, which represents what you have to pay for 2020 to catch up, Ms. Karen. All right, folks, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, in a rather amazing case, the judge just gave these two sisters some very good advice. Let's start first with Karen, the defendant, Karen Costa. Karen, what do you think about what the judge just had to say?
I agree with her. She's right. She's right. I do owe her because it was a lack of trust on my sister's behalf, though. But she's right because I didn't pay anything, and I am going to pay her, but I'm on a fixed income. I'm get widow's pension, so she's going to have to get something monthly. That's what I'm willing to pay.
Do you think this will help you get back together in communication with your sister? I mean, you were very close. You can do it again, don't you think?
Yes, we can. Blood is always thicker than this. Of course, we can definitely get back to being siblings like we were.
Well, I certainly hope so. And you're right, blood is thicker than water. All right. Robin, you heard what your sister said. How do you feel about the outcome of the case? She knows she owes you the $600, but more importantly, is it a relationship? How about that?
Like I never felt like that wasn't my sister. I know she was angry. And, once the judge pointed out that I could have just reached out to her in a different way and just said, listen, I paid it, then maybe things would be better. But when I did text her, she was like, I don't want to hear it. I'm not giving you anything because you haven't been paying. But that was not the case. But I think the judge was fair in her assessment of what's going on between us, and that we should get back as sisters. That's my sister. We'll always be sisters. So, I love my family. I don't want any animosity between us.
Listen, good luck to both of you, all right? Thank you very much, and congratulations, Robin. Okay, now let's join the judges for another session of After the Verdict.
Well, when it comes to timeshares, it seems it's a lot easier to get in than it is to get out, wouldn't you say?
I would.
And it's unfortunate that this turned into a money fight between siblings, and let's hope that they can patch it up and that this is the first step to healing that whole thing. But at the end of the day, they're depreciating investments, and unless you're really going to use it, unless you know you're going to go religiously every year and use that week or 2 weeks or whatever you've got, maybe not the wisest investment.
I don't think so, because I know that you and I have been burned on this before. But they work for some people. I know that, but they don't work for everybody. You really got, if it's the first time you've been in an airplane,
right,
it's probably not going to work for you.
Right, and they kind of, I don't want to say totally high pressure, but their pitch is very seductive.
They're good. They're smooth.
It's seductive. I remember when I was a kid, the first time we took a vacation, a real vacation, because we would go camping. We really couldn't afford hotels. But my parents scraped together some money and we took a real vacation to Florida. And I remember we had enough money to stay one night in a nice hotel on the beach, okay, or nice enough on the beach. And the other 4 nights we stayed in something really, really crappy where they probably rented by the hour, like 5 miles away, right? And I remember when we were in that hotel, in the lobby, there was a real estate company pitching like lots or some kind of real estate. And my father saw a sign that said free steak dinner for the family. So we all went. All 5 of us had a nice steak dinner. And my dad was working in a steel mill at the time. And I remember the salesman coming up to him and saying, well, Mr. Schlesinger, tell me what you do for a living. And he looks the guy in the eye and he says, I'm in steel. Like dead serious, right? But the long and short is he could never have afforded to buy a lot or anything, but we got the steak.
But he had the good sense to walk away.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So.
But I remember when you and I, when the kids were little, in fact, I don't even think we had Sophie. We just had Christy and Alex, or maybe just even Christy.
We were in Disney or somewhere, and
yeah,
we were
it was a
so
Disney
ready to
timeshare.
buy.
And we were like, oh, we're going to get this free weekend. This is going to be awesome.
Right.
And we get the free weekend, and we're like, all we got to do is sit through an hour. And by the end of the hour, we were ready to sign. We had to smack ourselves into submission because we knew we're not going to use it, you know?
Right. And again, they're good for some people, and they're good for people who are going to use them religiously. If not, you're going to find yourself paying maintenance fees and, banking that.
I think the takeaway in terms of the relationship between these two sisters and really the relationship between people who know each other and have hurt each other and there was a certain distrust which was completely understandable on the part of the defendant.
Right.
And what you have to do when someone is no longer trusting you is prove to them they could trust you again.
Absolutely.
And they really, just like the defendant said, they didn't have to end up here if the plaintiff had just sat down and said to her, look, let me show you what I've been doing. I think they could have worked it out among themselves. And I really, really hope that they will be able to now.
So Raj wants to know, are there any exceptions to the as-is rule in the purchase of a used car? Yes, Raj, there is one big exception, and that exception is fraud. That if you can prove that the person who sold it to you left out a material fact or lied about something, and you can prove fraud, you can get out from under the as-is. And that will do it for this case. Litigants, for the next case, inside the courtroom.